You're welcome, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll start with the prayers, and then we can do the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.25 is what I selected about one of the Kunti prayers. We'll start. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswate Deve Kauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the verse again, chapter 8 of Canto 1, Queen Kunti prayers, text number 25. Vipadah santu tasasvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadarshanam. Vipadah santu tasasvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadarshanam. Word to word. Vipada, calamities. Santu, let there be. Ta, all. Shashvat, again and again. Tatra, there. Tatra, and there. Jagadguru, O Lord of the universe. Bhavataha, your. Darshanam, meeting. Yet, that which. Syat, is. Apunaha, not again. Bhavadarshanam, seeing repetition of birth and death. Translation. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. Purport by His Holiness Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Generally, the distressed, the needy, the intelligent, and the inquisitive who have performed some pious activities worship or begin to worship the Lord. Others who are thriving on misdeeds only, regardless of status, cannot approach the Supreme due to being misled by the illusory energy. Therefore, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. Therefore, even though there are so-called calamities, they are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. One who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nations, can achieve liberation as easily as one leaps over the holes made by the hoofs of a calf. Such persons are meant to reside in the abode of the Lord, and they have nothing to do with a place where there is danger in every step. This material world is certified by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita as a dangerous place full of calamities. Less intelligent persons prepare plans to adjust to those calamities without knowing that the nature of this place is itself full of calamities. They have no information of the abode of the Lord, which is full of bliss and without trace of calamity. The duty of the sane person, therefore, is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes, one should make progress in spiritual realization, because that is the mission of human life. The spirit soul is transcendental to all material calamities. Therefore, the so-called calamities are called false. A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger and there is no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. If someone is lucky enough to get in contact with the Lord by devotional service, it is all gain. Contact with the Lord by any one of the 9 devotional services is always a forward step on the path going back to Godhead. Well, again, thank you for letting me speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I picked this verse because when I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam for the first time and this first canto, I really got inspired, or I could connect, and I think many can connect to this verse because calamities, obstacles, impediments, whatever we call it, is all around in our day-to-day life, and this inspired me when this allowed me to remember to Krishna whenever possible, and remembering him is to get liberation from the repeated births and deaths. So let me give a little background how Kunti prayers begin. So in this chapter, Mother Uttara, who is the mother of Parikshit Maharaj, she got saved from Lord Krishna himself. So after the battle of Kurukshetra, Ashwatthama releases Brahmastra to kill the last son or the last descendant of the Kuru dynasty in Uttara's womb, and Lord Krishna himself, as is the soul, the super soul, Paramatma in every living entity. So he stops, or he protects Maharaj Parikshit from that Brahmastra. And soon after that, all the Pandavas, along with Draupadi and Mother Kunti, while Krishna is leaving to Dwaraka, Mother Kunti addresses him in various prayers, and one of the prayer is this. So the verse before this, she spoke about the different calamities that their family has to go through, and some of the calamities listed are how the Bhishma was being fed by a poisonous cake to kill him, and how Draupadi got insulted in the assembly, and they were they were invited to a house made of shellac, and they were set a fire. That is one. And the battle of Kurukshetra itself, and when they were in the banished to the forest for many number of years. So Bhishma has to fight with this man-eater Hidimbi. And even at the end of the battle, how Ashwatthama tried to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So these were all very, very big calamities compared to what I see in my day-to-day life. But those are the listed ones. And in all those calamities, Pandavas and Mother Kunti and the whole family is completely surrendered to Krishna. They always remember him. And that is what Mother Kunti was praying for. Let those kind of calamities come again and again, because in every calamity, they never forget of Krishna, and they would always come victorious after that calamity. So she's praying because now Krishna is leaving them, and because if there is a calamity, they know Krishna will be there with them. So that is one of the reasons why she's offering this prayer. So why then these calamities are good? Why one should, like Kunti prayer, pray for calamities? I mean, our acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, he in his purpose, some of the purpose, he explains that when one is in a helplessness condition, their attachment to Krishna will be increasing. So one is in helplessness, they would remember Krishna even more sincerely than one who has everything and then praying for Krishna. And in one of the other prayers, Kunti prays that Krishna has protected the Mother Devaki and also Kunti and his sons. But Prabhupada says in that purport that Kunti was given more favor. The reason being, the Mother Devaki, Krishna has not protected other 6 children, but in Mother Kunti's case, he protected the 5 Pandavas in every obstacle that they faced. And Srila Prabhupada says that because Devaki still has a living husband, Vasudeva, and in Kunti's case, she is a widow. So that's why she got more favor than Mother Devaki. In other words, Mother Kunti was in more helpless situation, and Krishna has to show more favor to her. So in the next prayer, after this verse, Mother Kunti prays, like, who can approach Krishna with sincere feeling? And in that verse, it mentions there are 4 material things: Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, and Shribir. That there is Janma, which is a high birth; Aishwarya, which is wealth or opulence; Shruta, which is education; and Shribi, which is beauty. So with these 4 material progressing, the verse goes like this: Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribir, Etamanat Madapuman, Naeva Hati Apidatumve, Twamakinchana Gocharam. So the one who is trying to progressively increase these material opulences, these material things, they cannot address Krishna sincerely. So who can address? Twamakinchana Gocharam. That means the one who is materially exhausted, they can sincerely pray for Krishna. In fact, during our Janmashtami, I got with some other devotees, had an opportunity to listen from His Grace, Nityananda Prabhu. And I have asked this question, and he was talking on the topic about Janmashtami. And he was explaining how Krishna has took away the subtle pride from these 2 personalities. One is Bali Maharaj and one is Sudama Brahmana. So in one case, he took away all the opulences, that is in Bali Maharaj case, and in other case, he gave all the opulence for Sudama Brahmana. So Krishna is so mysterious, he can act in any way he wants. That's why he's so inconceivable. So in Bali Maharaj case, he has this little pride when he comes as Vamanadev. He says that that you can ask for anything. And Vamanadev asked for 3 pieces of land, and he says, Bali Maharaj says that he says some words like Trilokeshwara. He is the ruler of all the 3 worlds. And if you like, you could have asked for the entire island or an entire planet to rule. So that is the little pride that he have. So he takes away that pride, as we know what happens next. And even in Sudama Brahmana case, he doesn't have anything, and he goes. But at the end, he gives a lot of opulence when he returns back home. But in his case, there is a little pride because he thinks he's a renounced Brahmana. That means he doesn't have anything and is renounced of everything. So there is a little pride even in Sudama Brahmana, and at the end he goes back to the transcendental abode. So in both the cases, Krishna has taken away whatever the little pride. But in one case, Bali Maharaj goes with a lot of opulence, and another case, he's without any opulence. So in both the cases, Krishna has shown equal mercy. Coming to that point, His Grace Yamuna Jivana Prabhu also talked about during Janmashtami lecture the example of Bahulashtaka and Shukadeva Brahmana. So even in those 2 cases, Krishna has equally shown his mercy towards both of them. One is the king of the province Mithila, and the other one is the Brahmana, the poor Brahmana. So when he travels to reciprocate to their feelings of their devotion, how much they remember Krishna by worshipping his deity form. And he goes all the way from Dwaraka to their place, and he's again so mysterious how he expands himself into two ways, and then he goes and shows his mercy to both the devotees. So one who is materially exhausted can approach Krishna. And how we remember Krishna. There was in Bhagavad Gita 1858, there is a verse that Krishna says to Arjuna, Matchittani sarva durgani mat prasadat patarishyasi. So who can overcome obstacles? One who is fully conscious of him. And by Krishna's mercy, one can overcome these obstacles. And overcoming these obstacles, as Kunti Priya says, that there will be liberation. There is no birth and death entanglement. And Srila Prabhupada in one of his lectures says how to remember Krishna. So this is important to us, like how we can constantly remember Krishna. And he says in that by regularly following the principles, regulative principles or any other principles that elevate us to Krishna consciousness. So like, for example, whatever the activity that we do, since from the time we wake up, like rising early or taking bath, cleansing our body, offering all the food stuff to Krishna, and reading scriptures, and monthly Sankirtan festival that we do, like Sankirtan, going on a Sankirtan. So all the activities, our Acharya says there are 24 hours a day we can always engage in Krishna consciousness. So by following those principles, that is how we can constantly remember Krishna. And what is the result of doing that? Krishna gives a promise that in Bhagavad Gita 8.5, Antakalecha Mameva. So when he, at the end of his life, when he quits body, remembering Krishna alone, remembering him alone will attain him. And there is no doubt about it. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So there is so much to remember Krishna or remember all the activities, even Janma Karma Chametivyam, there is his activities and his birth. One who remembers him, that is very transcendental activity. So one will never take the birth again. In fact, we should make a habit of this, or I should make a habit of it, because the habit becomes second nature. I was reading the story to my daughter Sia yesterday. The story about a thief, a thief who steals things, and one time he visits a holy place with his friends, and there, when they sleep, because he had a habit of this stealing propensity, and he tries to steal, but he thinks again, oh, I'm in a holy place, it is a sin that I am doing. So instead of stealing, he exchanges the bags of one person, one of his friends, to another friend. So when they wake up in the morning, they see, oh, where is my bag? And he admits that, oh, I'm a thief, and by my profession, I did this. I cannot stop myself. So that tells us this habit becomes a second nature, and one should be very one should make a habit of remembering Krishna. So at the end of one's life, that second nature acts, and we can go back to this transcendental abode. And Prabhupada says remembering is not just for one order, or one varna or one ashrama. It is for all varnas and ashramas, and everyone has equal opportunity, and one should do without fail. And in this verse, it also says that one who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are accepted as the most suitable boat for crossing the ocean of nations, can achieve liberation. So this is a verse, it's in Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma's prayers, 10th canto, 14th chapter, I think 58 verse. Now Brahma prays that to Krishna. So one who takes complete shelter of the Lord can easily achieve liberation. And it is this material world, or it's compared. So at that time, these obstacles are compared to the calf's hoof print. So it is very insignificant for a devotee who is surrendered to the Lord. And the same, there is another analogy of this boat that we all know. It is in Ishopanishad. The analogy is this material world is compared to this big ocean, and the suitable boat is compared to the human body, and the expert boatman who drive that boat is compared to the scriptures or the spiritual master, and the breeze that ply this boat smoothly is compared to the facilities given to the human body. Could be senses, mind, intelligence, any one of those. So it says in the Ishopanishad that if after taking this human body and with all these facilities, if one is not able to take shelter of Krishna or go back to Godhead, then he's considered as Atmaha. He's the killer of the soul. So it is so, which in fact, if you're not trying to remember Krishna in that way, or in any one of those 9 devotional processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all these 9, if you're not able to do or use this, the very purpose of our human body, then we are trying to kill ourselves. And there are these 4 kinds of neophyte devotees: 1, distressed, needy, intelligent, and inquisitive. And in I think in Nectar of Devotion, there were examples of these those devotees who goes in to begin the worship of Krishna, The distress is compared to, is the one we can see Gajendra, and the need of wealth or money is Dhruva Maharaj, who does who did that at the beginning, and the one he's inquisitive are the four sages, or not the four sages, the Naimisharanya sages, and the intelligent are the four Kumaras. So all these devotees has approached Krishna, and sometimes there are other ones pious who did pious activities also worship Krishna, but there is a purpose for that, and the purpose is very temporary, and they will have a temporary connection with the Lord. So for them, Srila Prabhupada says in one of his purpose that they doesn't get full mercy, even though Krishna is not partial. He gives mercy equally to everyone. In fact, is compared to the sun rays. The sun rays or the sun gives sunshine to everyone equally, but the one who is blind cannot receive it. I mean, cannot see that equally. So one who has a temporary purpose, and once the purpose is solved, then that person or the devotee or that person will not receive it, the full mercy. But one who is 100% engaged in Krishna, they will have full mercy without any partiality, the full mercy of Krishna. I think we are at the right of the time. So yeah, so I was praying to Krishna that whatever the calamities or whatever the small problems that I face in my day-to-day life, that I pray to Krishna that help me remember him in all the activities, and that way it becomes my second nature or the habit. So that's what I'm praying for too. Thank you. Please forgive me if there is any mistake, or if I'm not speaking something that is not scriptures or my own speculation. Kindly forgive me for that. If you have anything to share or discuss, please.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Kishore Krsna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
This is Kanakavajadas. Actually, you have given a very good example of Krishna. Lord Krishna is not partial to anyone. He is like a sun. So sun is when sun rises and sunlight goes to every nook and corner. He does not there is no partiality in him. But here we can see with different leelas that the Lord is always partial. The devotees, he takes a devotee side, like that every time. Rama, he took he killed Bali, taken the side of Sugriva, and then he took the side of Arjuna, and there's so many, like he partial to his devotees. So can you explain about it? One side is saying that he's not partial, but other side is partial to his devotees.
Yes, Prabhu. I mean, in Bali Maharaj case, it was the request of mother of Lord Indra. So he is reciprocating with the devotees with their feelings. It is not that he is really partial to somebody. As we all know, Krishna is more dear to his devotees. So whatever their prayers or their wish, he will try to fulfill them. I think I'm trying to remember the partiality nature. We think that he's partial, just like in the same case, the blind man is not able to receive it, but it doesn't mean there is sunshine there. So it is our imagination that Krishna is partial, but he is not truly partial. I mean, he shows more favor, as first I'm explaining the example of Mother Kunti versus Devaki. He showed mercy to both, but he is more favorable to one who is in helpless situation, but there is no thing of partiality in the Lord, is what I understood, Prabhu. But other devotees can chime in more. I cannot think of anything right now. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, good.
Anyone else? Otherwise, we can end the call. Can we end the call, Prabhu? Lakshmi Prabhu. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः.